Only when the last tree is cut, the last stream poisoned, and the last fish caught will we realize we cannot eat money. Welcome to the Life Quotes, where wisdom lives on through words. Today we journey into the heart of Native American philosophy, teachings carved by time, spoken through generations. These aren't just quotes, they're invitations to reflect, to live slower, to feel deeper, and to reconnect with a truth we often forget. We are not separate from the earth. We are a part of it. We live in a world that often measures wealth by currency, possessions, and man-made structures. But there's a deep, often ignored truth that whispers beneath our concrete cities and digital lives. Nature is not infinite. This ancient warning reminds us of something vital. When we relentlessly exploit the earth without thinking about tomorrow, we are sacrificing our very survival for short-term gain. The quote serves as a haunting prophecy. Imagine a future where there are no trees left to breathe life into the air, no rivers to quench our thirst, no animals to balance ecosystems. That future isn't science fiction. It's a possible outcome if we don't change our direction now. We think we're advancing with every new building, every mine dug, and every forest cleared. But in truth, we are stripping away the foundations that make life possible. Money might buy you a luxury apartment, but it can't grow food on dead soil or bring back extinct species. Modern society often separates humans from nature, as if we are above it. But the air we breathe, the water we drink, the food we eat, all are gifts from the earth. We cannot survive without them. And yet, many still believe that economic progress is worth the cost of pollution and environmental destruction. The deeper tragedy is that we're not only destroying nature, we're destroying our future. This quote isn't just environmental, it's deeply spiritual. It asks us to examine our values. What is truly important? Is it profit margins and convenience? Or is it clean air for our children, safe water for our families, and a planet that can sustain us all? There's an indigenous wisdom here that modern societies have forgotten. Many native cultures viewed the earth as a living mother, not a resource to be consumed, but a relative to be respected. Taking only what you need and leaving the land as you found it wasn't a slogan, it was a way of life. That mindset is what we must rediscover. Ultimately, this quote is a call to action. It tells us that if we keep ignoring the signs, if we keep treating nature as something to conquer instead of something to cherish, we will pay a price that no amount of money can fix. You cannot eat dollar bills. You cannot drink coins. When everything real is gone, the illusion of wealth will crumble. Now is the time to act, to protect, to restore, and to rethink how we define rich. Because true wealth isn't in the bank. It's in the forests, the rivers, the oceans, and the life they sustain. Every human being carries within them an eternal inner battle, the struggle between the darker sides of our nature and the light within us. This ancient metaphor of the two wolves resonates deeply because it speaks to something we all understand: the conflict between anger and kindness, greed and generosity, jealousy and gratitude. The two wolves represent opposing forces within our character. The evil wolf thrives on fear, resentment, pride, and destruction. It whispers harsh judgments, fuels addictions, and encourages us to lash out when we are hurt. The good wolf, by contrast, speaks in a softer voice. It nurtures compassion, patience, honesty, and love. It forgives. It listens. It seeks truth, not victory. But the message isn't simply that these wolves exist. The most powerful part of the story is the answer to the child's question: which wolf will win? The answer is so simple and yet so profound: the one you feed. In other words, the thoughts you dwell on, the emotions you act on, the habits you reinforce, these are the meals you offer your inner wolves. When you constantly complain, blame others, or hold on to grudges, you're strengthening the darker parts of yourself. But when you take a moment to be kind, when you hold back judgment, when you express gratitude, you're feeding the better wolf. This isn't about perfection. We all make mistakes. We all get angry. We all feel envy from time to time. But what matters most is which feelings we return to, which behaviors we reward, and which part of ourselves we allow to grow stronger over time. In difficult moments, this story can be a compass. When you're about to react out of spite, ask yourself, which wolf am I feeding right now? And when you feel tempted to give up, remind yourself that the good wolf also represents resilience, hope, and courage. This metaphor teaches responsibility. You are not just a passive victim of your emotions or past. You are an active participant in shaping your character. Every choice is a meal served to one wolf or the other. Over time, your dominant wolf becomes your identity. In today's noisy world, where negativity spreads faster than truth and hate can seem louder than love, it's more important than ever to consciously feed the good wolf, in yourself and in others. Because the wolf you feed doesn't just shape who you are, it shapes the world you help create. This profound reflection invites us to look beyond the surface of our existence and ask, what legacy are we creating? When a baby is born, it arrives crying, a loud announcement of life's arrival. And in that moment, everyone around smiles, laughs, and rejoices. The child is new, full of potential, untouched by the world. It is a moment of hope and innocence. But the true beauty of life is not found at birth. It is found in what we do with the time in between birth and death. The quote calls us to live a life so full of kindness, courage, and meaning that when we reach our final breath, there is no sorrow in our heart, only peace, and those who remain behind weep, not just in sadness, but in gratitude for the life we lived and the light we gave. To live that kind of life, we must choose purpose over distraction, presence over regret, and love over indifference. It means treating people with dignity, lifting others when they fall, speaking honestly even when it's hard, and being brave enough to follow our true calling. It's not about being famous. It's about being impactful. The school teacher who quietly changes lives, the father who leads with love, the friend who listens when no one else will, these are the people who leave behind the kind of legacy that makes the world cry when they go. And it's also about personal joy. To rejoice at the end of your life means to be at peace, to have no lingering regrets, to know that you lived authentically. It's the feeling of fulfillment that only comes from knowing you gave your best, made the most of what you had, and lived not just for yourself, but for something greater. In a world that constantly urges us to chase more money, more status, more things, this quote pulls us back to a deeper truth. The real goal is not to arrive at the end with possessions, but with peace, not with applause, but with love, not with perfection, but with purpose. So live each day with the end in mind, not with fear, but with intention. Ask yourself, if today were your last, would you be proud of how you lived it? If not, change it. Because one day that moment will come. And in that moment, may the world cry for losing you, and may you smile knowing you lived a life worth remembering. Words are powerful, but they are not enough. This native proverb teaches us a deep lesson about humility, action, and integrity. In a world filled with noise, where social media rewards boasting, where talk is cheap, and where people often confuse loudness for leadership, This quote reminds us that true strength lies in action, not in volume. To have less thunder in the mouth means to speak with restraint. It doesn't mean we stay silent, but that we choose our words wisely, we avoid empty promises, and we don't use our voices to exaggerate our abilities or intentions. In contrast, more lightning in the hand represents quiet, focused action, results that speak for themselves. Just like lightning, these actions come swiftly, powerfully, and undeniably. The people who make the greatest impact in life are often not the loudest. They don't waste time talking about what they will do. They simply do it. Their energy is not spent on appearances, but on substance. And when they act, it's not for show, but for real, lasting change. Think of a craftsman who perfects his skill in silence, or a leader who lifts others without demanding attention. Think of someone who promises little but delivers beyond expectation. These people embody lightning in the hand. Their lives are marked not by drama, but by quiet excellence. On the other hand, thunder in the mouth is everywhere today. People overpromising, grandstanding, bragging about success they haven't earned. But thunder without lightning is just noise. And eventually people stop listening. There is strength in stillness. When you act without needing to announce it, your results will speak louder than any speech. This quote urges us to shift our focus from proving to improving, from noise to action. It's better to surprise people with what you've done than to disappoint them with what you said you would do. So speak less, do more. And when you speak, let your words be grounded in truth. Let your actions carry your message. In doing so, you become someone others trust, admire, and follow. Not because you shouted the loudest, but because you moved like lightning exactly when it mattered. This profound native saying is not just about communication. It's about the wisdom of silence, the power of humility, and the ability to grow by observing the world before reacting to it. It teaches us one of the most vital skills in life, to listen deeply. In today's world, we live in an age of constant talking, online opinions, heated arguments, interruptions, and a rush to speak before understanding. But when we speak too much and listen too little, we become blind to others and even deaf to ourselves. We miss not only the words of others, but also the quiet insights that arise in stillness. Your tongue will make you deaf means that constant talking blocks you from hearing truth. If you're always focused on what you want to say next, you stop absorbing what's being offered to you. Whether it's someone's pain, a lesson hidden in a moment, or even an opportunity dressed in silence. Listening is more than hearing. It's a discipline. It means being present. It means being willing to not have the last word. It means you understand that every person, no matter their background or status, may have something to teach you, but only if you're humble enough to listen. Some of the most respected elders and wise individuals speak very little. They observe, they weigh their words, and when they do speak, people listen, not because they are loud, but because they have listened first. They've learned that silence is not weakness, it's wisdom. Think of the times when you wished you had paused before speaking. Think of the damage that could have been avoided by simply being quiet and absorbing the moment. Now imagine how much more peaceful and powerful your relationships, your decisions, and your inner life could become if you listened more than you spoke. This quote is not just a warning, it's an invitation to become a better human, to learn more, to love deeper, to avoid regret, simply by choosing to listen first. So take a breath, be still, open your ears and close your ego. In doing so, you'll hear not just the words of others, but the whispering wisdom of life itself. In our pursuit of understanding, we often chase knowledge, facts, data, history, theories, believing that the more we know, the wiser we become. But this native teaching reveals a powerful truth. Wisdom is not the same as knowledge. And if we seek only knowledge, we may remain blind to what truly matters in life. Knowledge is the collection of information. It tells us what has happened, what is, and sometimes even how things work. It resides in books, lectures, and digital archives. But wisdom lives in choices, in silence, in reflection. It is not about what you know, Dane. It's about how you apply what you know, especially in situations where there is no clear answer. Wisdom is the ability to take knowledge and use it for the benefit of others, for healing, for peace. Knowledge can be taught. Wisdom must be earned. It is gathered in the quiet moments after pain. It is forged in the fires of failure and compassion. It often comes not when we seek it, but when we stop running from ourselves. This quote challenges us to stop glorifying how much we know and instead ask ourselves, what have we learned from what we've lived? How has what we've gone through helped us become more patient, more grounded, more loving? In a world obsessed with intelligence and credentials, the elders remind us that knowing more is not the same as living better. Wisdom helps you choose restraint over rage, calm over chaos, clarity over confusion. It helps you walk away from what no longer serves you, even when you know you could win the fight. Wisdom is the voice inside that tells you to be kind, even when you have been hurt. It is what remains when the noise of facts has faded and only the essence of what truly matters is left. So don't just fill your head, nourish your spirit, be still, reflect, let experience shape you. And remember, knowledge may prepare you for the test, but wisdom will help you pass the test of life. This simple yet profound teaching holds the key to living not only in balance with nature, but also in harmony with life itself. It's not just about the earth. It's about how we move through the world. In today's world, excess is often mistaken for success. The more we have, money, possessions, titles, the more accomplished we feel. But this native wisdom reminds us that abundance isn't about accumulation. It's about balance. Taking only what you need is a form of respect for the earth, for others, and for your own spirit. The land provides for us food, water, shelter, beauty, but it is not ours to own, exhaust, or destroy. It is something we borrow from future generations. When we take more than we need, we leave less for others. When we exploit without giving back, we leave scars that last far longer than we imagine. And this applies not just to natural resources, but to everything. Relationships, time, energy. Take only what is necessary to thrive, not to indulge your ego. Leave people better than you found them. Leave moments without regret. Leave no bitterness behind in the hearts of those you pass. To leave the land as you found it is an invitation to tread lightly, physically, emotionally, spiritually. It's the art of living without leaving damage, of being grateful for what you take and mindful of what you leave behind. It's about living in such a way that your presence nurtures instead of depletes. Imagine a world where every person followed this principle, where we consumed less, shared more, respected boundaries, and honored what we've been given. The soil would be richer, the waters cleaner, and the human heart lighter. So take this as a lesson, not just in sustainability, but in humanity. Let your legacy be kindness, not clutter. Give back more than you take. Leave beauty where you walk. That is the way of wisdom. Peace is not a word to be spoken lightly. It is not a slogan to be chanted or a wish whispered into the wind. True peace is a way of being. It is how we treat others, how we treat ourselves, and how we choose to exist in the world every single day. Too often, people speak of peace while holding on to anger. They call for calm while harboring resentment. They demand justice while refusing to forgive. But the wisdom of this quote reminds us that words alone are not enough. Crying for peace while living in conflict is like planting seeds in poisoned soil. Nothing good will grow from it. To act peace means to intervene with compassion. It's offering help when it's easier to turn away. It's calming tensions before they erupt. It's refusing to participate in cycles of blame or revenge. To live peace means creating an inner stillness, where your emotions do not control your actions, and where your thoughts are grounded in empathy. It means choosing not to escalate, choosing not to hate, and choosing to understand rather than judge. Peace is not passive. It takes effort, strength, and deep courage to walk away from a fight or to offer grace where anger feels justified. And to live in peace is to build a life rooted in harmony with your environment, your values, your relationships. It means surrounding yourself with honesty, removing yourself from chaos, and creating a space where love, patience, and presence can flourish. The world is filled with people crying out for peace, but what the world truly needs are those willing to embody it. Let your actions soothe the wounds of others. Let your choices bring calm into conflict. Let your life become a reflection of the peace you wish to see. Because peace is not a moment. It is a lifelong practice. In the quiet wisdom of this ancient truth lies a reminder we too often forget that we are not separate from nature, we are part of it. But as we build cities of steel and glass, as we bury ourselves in screens and schedules, we drift further from the rhythms that once gave us peace. And with every step away from the trees, the rivers, and the wind, something inside us grows rigid, cold, unfeeling. A heart that forgets nature becomes easily overwhelmed. It forgets how to slow down, how to breathe with the earth, how to be still and simply exist. Instead, it races, it competes, it clings to material success and neglects emotional wellness. And over time, it forgets joy, the simple, grounding kind that comes from watching the sun rise or feeling the soil beneath your feet. When we return to nature, even briefly, something remarkable happens. The fog in our minds begins to lift. We remember that life is not just about achievement, but about presence, about listening to the wind, following the seasons, and allowing silence to teach us. Nature humbles us. It shows us how small we are and how connected. It teaches us about resilience through the growth of trees, about surrender through the flow of rivers, and about balance in every ecosystem. If your heart feels heavy, if your thoughts are racing, if your spirit is tired, maybe what you need isn't more noise, but more stillness. Not more answers, but more earth, more time spent walking without a destination, letting the forest do what it has always done, heal. To soften your heart, return to where it first learned how to feel, in the arms of nature. We live in a world where questions are often asked to win arguments, to prove a point, or to satisfy curiosity. But some questions are different. They don't come from the mind. They rise from a deeper place, from longing, from vulnerability, from the heart. And when you ask from that place, not to impress, not to manipulate, not to outsmart, but to truly understand why we've answers differently. The world, people, even the silence around you, they respond with honesty because the heart speaks a language more ancient and universal than words. Think about a time you asked someone, "Are you okay?" Not just out of politeness, but because you saw their pain. That wasn't a question from your head. It was from your heart. And chances are, the answer you received, spoken or unspoken, was equally sincere. To ask from the heart means being open to more than information. It means being open to connection. It means you're ready not just to know, but to feel. And when you bring that kind of openness into your relationships, into your reflection, into your journey, something beautiful happens. Barriers fall, trust forms, and even the hardest truths become easier to carry. This wisdom also reminds us to trust our inner voice. When you're confused, don't just consult Google or ask around endlessly. Sit with yourself. Ask your heart, what is right for me? The answer may not come instantly, but it will come in the form of clarity, intuition, or a quiet knowing. So the next time you're lost, conflicted, or just seeking meaning, don't start with noise. Start with stillness. And then ask, not with fear, not with pride, but with sincerity. Ask from the heart, and life will answer in kind.